You know, folks, this is perhaps the rarest radio on planet Earth. And we thought for something different tonight, we would take you to their house and show you all the ins and outs of the 1936 CROSLEY. Let's go and knock on the door. We are here. And what a beautiful knocker. Shall we?
Toddy, my boy. I heard you talking about our knocker.
I love knockers.
But I'd like to have two of them, you know? We're starting out good, aren't we?
This is bad.
It hurts.
Mel Brooks just flipped over.
Yeah. Well, you see, we've been friends for many years, so we can do things like that.
Many years.
Many.
And I'm also used to filming with one hand. But the good news is I did bring a tripod. Here we are, Sam and Anna.
Yes, we're here.
And this is going to be called
Sam and Anna's Blasts from the Past.
In stereo.
And this chapter is
Radio Rama.
Yes, because you have something extremely rare for us to see.
Yes.
None of you have seen one of these. And this beauty is right there, isn't it, Sam?
This is the CROSLEY WLW Radio. The largest, finest, most expensive radio ever made.
And Anna, what do you think of this beauty?
It's an absolute marvel.
You're going to tell us all about it, I hope.
Oh yeah, I have my notes just to be accurate for everyone, you know, because I'm forgetful at this age.
Look at the size of this thing, Sam.
Yeah, look, here am I, and here's the radio.
Wow, and look how thick and deep. Look, I like it. It's taller than you.
And I'm in heels.
We could put her inside this and she'd have a comfortable little bed.
Look at this beautiful piece of wood work. God, it's beautiful. What is this made out of?
These were made out of 7 different exotic woods that were imported from all over. If you ask me the names of the different woods, I really couldn't tell you. But they all have these beautiful patterns.
And look at all the
That's
knobs are original too. Wow.
Absolutely 100% original on the outside and as much as we could keep it on the inside.
They must have made hundreds of these, didn't they, Anna?
No, not at all, actually. They actually made about 10, maybe 12 of these. And how many are left, Sam?
2, maybe 3. And this is the only one that we know of that's fully restored, all original except for electronic upgrades and replacements, and working 100%.
Now, Sam, it was made what year?
This was made in 1936.
And how much did it cost back then?
Originally, it was $1,500.
$1,500? Well, wait a minute. A brand new Studebaker was $635.
That's right. 2 cars, 1 WLW, which
Well,
is
actually,
why
2.5 cars.
2.5 cars. Better mathematician.
Wow. Now, CROSLEY made this, though, because he wanted to upset who?
Mr. Zenith, we'll call him.
Now, Zenith made another radio called
Zenith made tremendous radios, probably the best of their time. They're still very desired by collectors because of the quality and the sound. But his Zenith, so to speak, was what he called the Stratosphere. And it was an enormous set, very expensive too. His set cost $750. That's half of this.
Anna, do you have a Stratosphere here?
Actually, we do.
Is it local? Is it
It's
nearby?
right in the other room.
In the other room.
Yeah.
Let's see the size difference, shall we?
This is it. This is the Zenith Stratosphere.
Now, stand next to it, Anna. It's definitely less imposing, and it's an
This was about 7.5 inches shorter than the WLW.
Well, it looks like he purposely copied the style, but made it more towering. Look at that. And look at the radio dial. The radio dial is large on this.
It's very large.
But on that one...
It's huge.
Sam, is that the biggest dial ever?
Biggest one I've seen. It's a full 12 inches in diameter.
Wow.
And very colorful. If you notice, Zenith doesn't have the color in his. It's more blacks and whites.
But this is beautiful,
But this is beautiful. In fact, many people think this is the nicer design between the two. and it has a lot of class to it. You can see the inlay and the patterning on this. He doesn't use exotic woods, but it's a very, very heavy set, very thick. If you feel inside it, this is at least a half an inch of wood.
But this was a lot cheaper, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And how many of these did they make?
Well, they produced 350, and today only 50 are known to exist. One of which is this one, which has been totally refinished because it was a, not a basket case, but it was pretty rough and totally restored electronically. The chassis were painted where it needed, and it did have chrome also, and that was polished. Well, it'll give you a comparison of the tone between the two.
Good idea, then.
I have this set to a local station that's strong. Now, we're in a terrible reception area, and because of that, we get a lot of hum, interference, and whatever. But we're putting this to KYW, which is our all news, all the time radio station. KYW.
It's not instant on. What about the transistors?
It's got 25 tubes. These tubes have to light and get warm or hot.
Listen, you're right, Ryan, about Watson's shot. That's look, you got to shoot the ball 10 feet 9 inches for it to go in. That one wasn't quite.
It has what they call a shadow graph tuning. There's little shadows that come together when the tuning is stronger. These will come together closer.
Can you turn the dial a little so we can see?
That's the band switch. Shortwave. This is standard broadcast. Now see, there's a Z on the dial. Zenith was proud of himself. He put a Z on the dial. Now you see, we're getting. There's the station, but it's weak. And you can see the shadow graph is almost totally open up. It's a very weak station.
Now, when you turn the shadow graph,
we'll go the other way because there's more stations in this area toward the other end of the dial.
Here, let me turn it here, then they can see the shadow graph.
Okay. Still weak, as you can see. Yep, go back.
I thought I might have had something there.
All-wheel drive system
Yeah, there's also fine-tuning. That's still weak because, again, we're in a very weak area.
And then the inside knob is your fine-tuning, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I can actually hear some pretty good bass on this.
Yeah, here's the tone. I can go very trebly.
Of course,
I like bass. So I can, this has a very large woofer, and it's got a very sharp, full range, or I should say high range tweeter. So there's only a couple of speakers in this compared to the WLW, which has many more.
And what year is this one?
35 to 36 this was made, so it's right in direct competition with that. See if we can get there.
That almost looks like one of the things you'd see in a submarine with the boop.
It does remind you of
As it
that.
swings around.
Police believe that there are
There's
still
KYW.
two on the loose.
Now, Anna, do you come in and listen often to the radio?
all the time.
No, we use our sets very sparingly. Mostly to demonstrate for other people. But I can listen to that sound all night.
The Kings are tied at one.
we'll shut it off.
In the third period after
Instant off.
Instant off.
Sound is actually quite a
It's
bit
quite
better at
good.
the daytime.
In fact, why don't we look
Really?
inside this as a comparison too?
All right.
You can
Let me
swing
step
around
away.
here, Todd-O. We call him Todd A.O., like in the movies, you know?
You know, I've known Sam and Anna for many, many years.
Oh, yes.
Now, let's see what's inside this thing. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh, my
Only
goodness.
using this little wire for an
Actually,
antenna.
hold it. Let me swing the light around.
Yes, let's get it lit.
Conveniently, I happen to have these lights here.
How did you manage that? You're just amazing.
Oh my
buddy.
gosh.
Now see, this is a beautiful all chrome chassis with some dust. Sam didn't dust in the back. You can blow in the back. And you can see the speaker complement. I said there was one woofer. I'm wrong. There are two 12-inch woofers and one horn tweeter. Now this particular set was modified to put a hypersonic tweeter right there, but the original tweeter is right behind it. So if anyone wanted to return it to its totally original form, they could. This here is your power amplifier and amplifier on one chassis, and it's black.
Show us the speaker again, where the original one would have been.
Right here, it says Zenith right on it. If you can get a close-up, you can see Zenith on it.
Okay. And then up in the back where the original tweeter was?
Right here.
Okay.
Okay. This little horn deal here is just a tweeter mounted right in front. This is the original tweeter.
Here, let me actually come in closer.
Mounted right in front of that.
I don't think people can actually see that here. Oh, there it is.
Now, all these cables were kept original, whereas in the WLW, we replaced everything to make it safer and more longer lasting for the future. See, this cable is stiff, and eventually will need replacing if you really want to.
Okay, and this must be the antenna. Oh, ANT.
Yep.
Antenna.
That's and there's a ground, but we don't use grounds these days.
Oh, and
that
look,
much.
wait a minute, Sam.
What did you find, Todd?
Could that be the RCA jack?
Yes, you can put a phonograph on this too if you want.
Do you know that's how old the RCA jack is? You all see it on when you see looking at radios and they say the RCA jack. Well, there you go.
That's right.
They had it back then, didn't they, Sam?
They sure did. They did a lot of things back then. And they did them better and longer lasting.
Now, this had 25 tubes, right?
25 tubes compared to 37 over there, because he wanted to, again, beat the Zenith.
And did he?
Did he?
And
Did he ever?
Did he?
Well, many say he did. It's certainly bigger, and if bigger is better, it's better.
Then let's go over and see what CROSLEY has done. Now, are we going to enjoy the CROSLEY Pup?
Ah, the CROSLEY Pup was their tiniest radio ever. 37 tubes, 1 tube, which Toddy will pull out for us.
Look.
See, it's got 4 prongs. They make
For quality, of course. And that little key on the side is so it plugs it exactly right.
That's it. You can't go wrong.
So you can't get it wrong. There we are. And you have a tuning knob here.
Yes, and you've got other things to
adjustments.
Turn. You've got the station.
And this runs on a battery.
Well, don't. Yeah, he's got his hand on the.
And I see here, she thought I was. Now look. Do I look like I'm that dumb?
It's easy to do.
See, I handle rare instruments like this all the time. Well, don't I?
We've all broken our share of collectibles.
No, of course.
And
actually,
on the bottom?
I wanted to show this label. It is a reproduction label, but it does describe it. And the most important thing, folks, is it tells you of the guarantee. You get 30 whole days from the day of purchase to return it for repair.
Do you think I can take advantage of that now, even though we're about 70 years too late?
But interestingly enough, you put it right on the top. I wanted people to know that wasn't part of the receiver. So
not at all. It's a separate piece.
Now, in terms of, we already know the size difference and such. This had a lot more tubes in it, though.
37 tubes.
As opposed to 25.
And more power. 75 watts here, 50 watts for the Zenith. And this particular radio has something unique in it, which Todd, I'll give him credit, thinks is one of the first karaoke pieces. And I'll show you.
That's right.
What I call the right wing, not of the White House, of the Semillian estate. Here you go. See that microphone? It's chrome and made by Astatic, which was a famous manufacturer then and still today.
Ba-ba-ba-boo.
That's it. Give me some Bing Crosby.
Everyone beneath the sun goes boo 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 boo. All the world is going boo 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 boo.
And it has 25 feet of wire, so you could pull it away. And this could be used for auditorium use. It's that powerful to fill up a whole auditorium.
In here. It's got, look in here, the original controls. I'm going to add some up the camera light here so people can see.
Yeah. The control on the bottom is the volume of the microphone. And believe me, if you turn it up very high, you'll get instant feedback. It'll squeal. And then...
They're beautiful wood knobs.
Yes. And they're not knobs that go directly to controls. They have long cables.
Yes, I can feel it. When I move this, I can tell I'm not turning the knob, but I'm turning like a stalk.
cable that goes all the way down to the proper chassis.
Well, we'll have to look at that in the back, won't we?
Yes. And the one above is a switch that has fouled me up more than once because its B side is for the radio and A side is for the mic. And unless you get it right, the radio's not going to play. And there's an intermediate position too to make it even more difficult to remember. So while we're on wings, let's leave that wing open so we'll see the full expanse of this set. This is the left wing. That's not politics either. We don't do politics here. And here we have the full tone controls, which controls the basic tone of the set. Bass is down here, and you see I like to keep it way up because I like the boomy tones. Mezzo is your voice mid-range, and finally treble. And the treble on this set is so outstanding that I really have to keep this down a little bit. It can go up to 20,000 cycles.
Wait a minute, isn't that the highest possible?
That is the full expanse of human hearing. Animals, of course, can hear much higher than that.
Well, what about the low tone then?
Low tone goes down to 20, which again is the
20?
base of hearing, unless you have a hearing problem. And,
But that's more than a lot of modern radios, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now,
It's
can
amazing.
you hear that deep rumbling bass when he's playing?
Every time.
Well, even though I am a bass baritone, she doesn't like too much bass.
I could do my ba 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 boo
It
again.
shakes her body.
Okay.
But Toddy,
Yesy?
you know it's all about the bass.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Boom. Go.
that's how Bose made their fame. They used small enclosures that produced a lot of bass.
Now, these adjustments here where it says performance and rendition.
Right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 controls on this set. Let me close this. And
But they didn't label them.
no, they didn't. They wanted to make it look very clean, not cluttered with print.
So
The
you
only
have to-
print was here.
Wow. So
And their name appears right there.
And it does say it's super sensitive.
Yes.
Well, my mother always said I was super sensitive.
See, we call this the WLW. He is super sensitive. But the full name of this set is actually the WLW Super Power Receiver. That's the full name. 1, 2, 3, 4 words for a radio instead of just Zenith.
Sam, what does this mean here? Germany,
That's your shortwave band. It plays shortwave,
Holland,
yes, and Police, another
France, Spain.
band, right? And this outside one is the AM band. Now this dial has a really unique tuning system because this gold pointer right there, which should say C for CROSLEY, but I don't know that it does.
It does.
Does
There's
it?
a
Is
C.
it? Okay, well, see there? He's touting himself again. He was a man who
Here, I'll
liked-
turn it sideways. Now you can
That's
see the
better.
C. There
Right.
we go. Look at that.
And the second indicator, which is red, goes around here, and it's numbered, and just like a clock would be.
3, 6.
It goes from 12 back to 12 again. And that's why they called this time log tuning. That was the name. It's outdated, but that's the name.
It's the future.
It's the future. Back to the future.
So this is the tuning knob then.
That's the tuning knob. It's very large, so it's easy to turn.
So
And
when I turn it, it turns just like the face of a clock.
Well, it's what they call vernier tuning, which means that it's very fine tuning, so you can really get a station right on the nose. And when you do, this very rare light, we had to look far and wide to replace that light. That little light alone cost about $250, $300.
Well, we're going to have to see. I think people are like screaming. They want to hear this.
Yeah.
Let's turn
Is
it
time
on.
to turn it on?
Yes,
Okay.
let's turn on
Now-
the set.
No guarantees. Any old set can blow at any moment. No, I'm kidding. Well, first, before we turn it on, let's look at what's powering.
Oh, yes, that's very important. Sam, what is that device?
That is known as a variac. That's what a lot of servicemen and collectors use in the field because it can control the voltage from 0 all the way up to past like 130. Our modern sets run usually about 120 to 125 volts, but this set, they like to keep this down to about 105. That way it burns less, cooler, and it preserves the set better that way too.
Okay, good. We're ready.
Okie dokie.
We are ready,
Keep
Sam.
your fingers crossed.
Here we go.
There's the light indicating that it's on AM.
So,
And you hear the
bottom
hum.
star.
You'll hear a little whip when it comes on.
The bottom star means it's the blue band. I heard the boop, and I see the CROSLEY is lighting.
Now, we're not on any particular station. I'm going to try to tune it to our strongest station, which again is KYW News Radio 1060.
Right now, it is Nebraska in front by a point.
Is that it?
I'm trying to... No, 1060.
I want that light to light. Then we'll know we're really on.
It's the Eagles.
There we
There we go.
Now,
You see, I overshot it. Watch the light now. When the lightning bolts go to the right and get brighter, that means the station is tuned in as close as possibly can be on the nose.
General manager of the year is Joe Madden.
I keep missing it. There it is.
From Sports
You see
Radio
that?
94 WIP.
And it really is accurate because I can tell by my ear that is clearer than it was before.
The CROSLEY is lit all the way across.
Yes. Now you want to hear some volume? Listen. No distortion.
Over 100 years of experience guarantees it. Reliability is Turn to the expert.
It's
It's got
deep.
plenty of bass.
It's got plenty of bass. It's deeper than the Zenith because this doesn't have two 12-inch woofers. It has a huge 18-inch subwoofer. And today people know what subwoofers are because they use them in their surround sound movie.
And I understand we're going to have a sampling because you have added a iPod port.
Right, or iPhone in my case.
iPhone port.
My iPod is sitting unused.
So we're going to hear some bass, aren't we?
Right.
You are.
But now, let me continue with the speakers.
Go ahead.
Beside that 18-inch subwoofer, it has two 12-inch woofers. Now remember, the Zenith had two woofers, period. And then, the most striking thing to me are the tweeters. There are three of them, and they're actually displayed inside in an arch that makes the sound go out in three different directions,
Including the sides.
including the sides here, and it really spreads the sound out, and you can hear a dimension almost like stereo.
I think people are itching to see the back. Why don't
Yes,
let's turn the volume down for just a moment. Leave it on so we can see.
Now get ready for 37 tubes and all the chrome chassis.
New Jersey.
It moves very nicely.
Oh my goodness.
It was built with casters. This is 475 pounds of radio.
Okay,
So
first,
casters were necessary.
well, Sam, why don't we start with this? This
Okay,
is,
that is the actual radio
you know what?
tuner.
Turn the volume down so we can hear it.
Okay.
Completely off, but leave it on so we can see the tubes lit.
So that's the tuner itself. And you can see even that is chrome. The back plate for it with all the little lights surrounding it, that has to have a lot of light to light up that huge dial.
Wow, look at the color of the silver. How beautiful it is. Sam.
It's chrome, and this chrome was in pretty good shape, and our restorer polished it by hand.
So this is the original chrome.
Yes, it is.
It hasn't been re-chromed.
That's right. And all these are the original capacitors, transformers. These, of course, are redone, and they do this by putting in new capacitors underneath where you can't see them, preserving the original look.
So it still has the beauty of
Right.
the original capacitors. Now, CROSLEY, as other radio manufacturers, purposely made the chassis to look nice so people could roll them out and look inside.
That's right.
It almost looks, Sam, as though there was never a back on this.
Never was a back on this. The Zenith did have a back, and it's extremely hard to find today because they fall off and get lost. But this one was made without a back. There's nowhere where you can see any place, any hooks or anything like that for a back. The little hooks we have here are for the antenna. Now this is the only antenna we have on this set, and we're getting good reception. Look at this tiny little one-wire piece that's less than about 5 feet long, and I'm very pleased that it's bringing this kind of reception, especially at nighttime.
Now, I noticed here, these are those stalks we were talking about.
Yes, these are the cables that come down to their individual.
Could you go up front and spin one of them so that people could see?
I don't think you can see them because inside they move. They move inside.
Oh, maybe.
See, they move
Let's just
inside.
see. They move in.
Get in. Wait a second. You want to see
See,
Yeah, the top one.
top one?
I can feel. Yes,
Yeah, you
I
can
can
feel
feel
it,
the movement.
and they go down
Okay.
to different chassis that
And so,
they involve.
and you know what? Everybody's dying to see what's below.
Now-
Here
now-
are the other cables.
Yeah. Now remember, we also talked about these glass envelope tubes that are original looking, the big ones with a shape like this.
Can you see them glow? Yes, they can see them
Yes,
glowing.
as opposed to the metal tubes. Now, some metal tubes were necessary for shielding to prevent hum.
This is back here.
Right.
And I see some high voltage leads on side. Oh
Right.
gosh, Sam. Yeah, here we go.
You mean that You know what? You could put your finger on top of that lead going to the tube, and it won't get any shock. My technician told me that after years of my being
spoiling.
afraid to touch it. No, I've just recently
What on
found
earth
out.
is that rattle going on?
Well, that's
Is that
one of
one of
our
your clocks?
That's one of our beautiful animated clocks. That's another show. We have 50 of those. Only at TNT. Now, let's go down
Okay,
here.
well, wait a minute. We're almost done here. I think we
Okay.
finished. Oh, look at this glass tube right here.
That
Isn't that beautiful?
That tube doesn't light. And they have a special name for it, which escapes me, but it really doesn't light, but it works. Without it, it would not work.
Okay, now we're ready for the unveiling because this is the first. By the way, the music interlude we hear are some of Sam's motion clocks.
Yes.
That's
Motion
another
musical
episode.
animated clocks.
Okay, now we're moving down, Sam. Here it goes. Here we
Okay.
go.
All right.
We're
now,
going to go down to the next level.
this is the second level on a big heavy board, and you can see the cables leading from those tone controls we showed you before, bass, treble, and mid-range. They lead up to here, and they go to the respective places down here, and they're mounted on this chassis, which is your amplifier. This puts out the 75 watts, and the controls go right here, and you can control the tone. The pots, the potentiometers, the volume controls are all there, and they go on that chassis, and they turn them remotely. Remote control, in a way.
Now, people need to know this. This is very important. Sam, these haven't been re-chromed?
No. All original chrome.
Look at them. Look
I
at
would say
this.
it's about maybe 85-90% quality. You'll see some areas, like right here on the transformer, where there's a little bit of pitting,
This is amazing.
but it's pretty darn good. I'm very pleased with the quality. I mean,
Sam,
I stopped
how
making
can
perfection
something-
a long time ago.
Perfection. I disagree. This is absolutely stunning. Imagine that this is the original chrome
That's right.
all those years ago.
I mean, it's like having an old car. If you restore it or over-restore it, you never want to use it or drive it. You put it around on a U-Haul. And this is better than it does it, by this way. Now notice, you're right now focusing on a serial number, and every single one of the 4 chrome chassis has a serial number. Now, I've learned that these radios were never sold to the public, so why did they have serial numbers?
Well, why?
Good question. We're not sure. I think their intent was to start producing them, but they never went beyond that 10 or 12. And from what we know, Mr. Zenith got one immediately, so CROSLEY could puff out and say, "Hey, look what I did," And maybe one
Poor
went
Mr.
to
Zenith.
Other ones went to CROSLEY's family members, relatives.
Now these are the tweeters you were talking
Yes,
about.
there are 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. And they're all original. They were in perfect condition. Only one had a voice coil that was missing, and it was rebuilt and replaced. And in front of the 3 tweeters, notice again the arc, so it goes out to the side, center, and to the right. This is the power chassis that powers all this area here with the speakers.
So
It
there's
puts
4
power.
separate chassis.
And speakers that are powered. Now, why are they powered? I think you know the answer to that, Todd.
Yes, these all the speakers you people know of today are 2 wires that go to the speaker cone because there's something called a permanent magnet in all your speakers. They didn't have permanent magnets back then. These are not permanent magnets. These speaker magnets.
They're electromagnets.
That's right, and they require their own power supply to power them. Do you notice there's 4 connections?
Yes.
2 for the voice coil and 2 for the magnet.
I don't know the exact voltage
Look,
they require.
actually, look, voice, field.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Look at that.
And these speakers, I'm pretty sure, were manufactured by the famous Jensen company for CROSLEY. And Jensen is still making top-notch speakers.
There we go. Now you can see kind of in there. This is kind of crude, folks.
Yeah, well, they actually have...
No, I mean, my filming is crude.
They actually have big wood spacers
Yes.
for the tweeters, so it better diffuses the sound, and it looks really neat to have the wood.
Now, notice these cables all snake down. These are the ones with the inside cable, and go in here to where the controls are.
Right.
So in here, this is where your bass, treble, volume, all the controls. So a couple of these go up to the left side of the cabinet, and the others go to the right side. So volume, mezzo, bass, treble.
Right.
Oh, I can feel the heat.
Oh yeah. This will put out so much heat it'll keep you warm on a winter night. And that's another reason to keep the voltage down. The voltage makes it burn lesser, cooler. Now, the one chassis we've left out is this chassis. That whole gigantic chassis, which is the size of the amplifier, is the power. That is
the heart and soul of your machine.
Yes, that generates the power for everything that you see in operation. Now, the Zenith, if you remember, I told you had its original cables, umbilical cords, because there are so many little wires, and they coat them, with like silk wrapping, and they have an umbilical cord-like effect. Mm-hmm. These were all replaced because my restorer and I felt they were too stiff to be used safely. So he did all this by hand. All the cables that you see they're colorful like this, are not original. I think he kept the originals just for the sake of having it. But he redid that. There are cables down here that he redid. And he did something that I like very much. He threw this in.
Like
he didn't even charge me.
I don't like bending. You said I didn't have to bend down in this video.
It's my knees and your back.
She has the right move.
And look where
She's sitting.
she is. She's nesting on that staircase, the curved staircase.
Should we call this the Gone with the Wind staircase?
That's right. In the next video, I will be descending the stairs.
Like Loretta Young.
If you guys like the video, we'll come back because there's so much stuff here. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, now, what Chuck did for me, Chuck is my restorer, Chuck Azalina, and he's a top-notch restoration artist. He put in this little device, not affecting the originality because it's wired right to the chassis.
This looks suspicious like an Altoids mint box.
I'll bet it is. And what he did was put the electronics inside, and you notice this switch has caused me confusion in the past because if you have it to one side, the radio won't play at all, and you put it to the other side, and you plug in your iPad or
that's
iPhone.
Flipped. The radio is off. And now it goes to the iPhone.
Right. See? See? And I do, by chance, have my iPhone here.
He just happens to have his
That's right.
iPhone.
I don't come prepared. And I have music that I'm proud to say is our own, because Ann and I...
Can we lip sync with me?
Well, you can try. But I was going to say, Ann and I have a singing group that we formed a duo many years ago called Stardust. And she says, I'm the star, and she's the dust. But
there was actually a wonderful movie named by the same...
I'm the star, and he's the dust.
Well, he'll be dust one day, too.
Ashes to ashes.
Okay, let's get on with this young man.
See, we haven't been fed yet. That's why we're acting so strange. We need food and drink. Just now, water. That's all.
We have to say food.
Food. Yeah.
Okay.
And at this house, they stuff you.
They stuff you. Okay, he's plugging in the record player.
It goes right into the earphone.
We flip the switch.
Now you have it to the right position. Where does it say?
Well, the radio's off now.
Okay. Radio.
It's beautifully labeled, I might add.
I did that with magic marker with my 66-year-old shaky
all
hand.
this effort, and you have it in an Altoid mint box.
Okay, let's see
what am I going to do with him?
Hold on.
Okay, he's going to select it.
Now this is from a live club or restaurant that we go to every week. And this is Anna doing I'm Sorry.
Lip syncing.
And she's sorry I spent so much money
Here we
on this.
Ready?
Oh,
this has extra tone here. Beyond that, there are positions here called rendition. They're very fancy in their naming these things.
Go ahead.
And it's all part of the on-off switch. Right now it's on normal. There's high fidelity. You notice it gets very trebly. Also, the next one is mellow. I like normal. Now,
I like the.
you like the other one, didn't you? High fidelity?
Well, that sounds good. Now try. What does performance mean?
Alright, this control here is a little more unique and far out because I don't hear that much difference when you turn them, but listen, see if you hear the difference. That's called Mystic Hand. Now isn't that a crazy name? Mystic Hand. Now there's another switch. Ready? I'm going to do another turn. And now that's called Mystic Hand with auto expression. But to me, it just dulled the sound.
All right, Sam. I think we're ready for some other music.
Yes. And I have to start out with my all-time favorite tenor.
Who is that?
It's Mario Lanza.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Mystic Hand and bass.
Yes, but actually it is very trebly to bring out those great tenor notes.
I think we're ready for some modern music, or at least 80s. Play me something from the 80s.
Okay.
I think we can hear the bass.
Now, Todd, this is the first time you're really hearing this because it was restored only a little while ago, and we don't see each other like we used to regularly. But doesn't that sound more like a hi-fi system than a radio?
Yes, it does.
It's amazing.
a deep bass.
You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it.
His voice.
You wanna be mad.
I think we'll put it back in there. Well, Sam, we are impressed.
Well, I'm glad you are.
We are impressed.
I'm still impressed. I'm reading some of the specs that I didn't even remember. Listen to this. This had every advanced feature for the time that could be built into a radio, which included automatic volume control. They say AVC today. And it has automatic frequency control that prevents drifting. So the station won't fade away like this. And
It
then
doesn't
come back
drift
from
down
like
like
that.
this. It doesn't drift down like this.
Right. And this is a more subtle thing called automatic volume expansion, which compensates for natural or intentional variations in broadcasting. So this is compensating for things that are broadcasting on the station level to us.
What's neat here is we can see the comparison, state of the art in this era and state of the art in that era. Huh, Sam?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Now, we didn't mention, too, that this has a very interesting grill cloth, which was a fabric that was popular at the time for furniture, believe it or not. And it's got the classic, what they call flame motif. And it's a tapestry-looking type cloth. And again, it's all original, never been touched. It's still clean. It doesn't have stains or any
That's
sign of
the
wear.
original cloth?
Yeah, no holes.
Oh, wow.
It's just amazing. Whoever had this did keep it very nice. And then we, of course, went a lot further and restored it to what you see today.
Wow, it's beautiful. Let's have another look at that chassis in the back, Sam. Sam, I just can't get over how beautiful this receiver is. But I would really like to get right close and personal to it.
Oh, I think we can arrange that.
You can?
Yeah. Just like the girl on Bewitched, right? Now, how about that? It's magic.
Well, I guess I wanted a close-up look, didn't I? This is rather neat, isn't it? Ah! I forgot. Glass tubes are hot. Ooh, boy. All right, Sam. I'm ready to come back.
Come on, Sam, let him out.
Sam, I'm ready to come back now.
Oh, Todd.
It's you.
I'm back.
I thought we lost you for good.
Did you enjoy your trip?
What were you doing, Todd?
Well, I'm not too thrilled. I will admit, I did find a little bit of dust in there.
Underneath?
No.
The crevasses, the crevices?
Before you ship this out to whoever ends up buying it, make sure you do a little more air dusting.
I dusted the outside today, but I did not dust the inside. That takes a little fine feather brush and a light touch.
Well, Sam, my stomach's starting to ache.
Growling?
Oh, he's hungry,
He's
Sam.
hungry.
Now, tell the people, don't you think I should be eating about now?
Absolutely.
He's been here 2 hours after all.
Voila! Sam, can you tell us a little more detail about this? Who did this magnificent restoration?
Well, he's a very friendly man and a good friend of mine for some years now. His name is Chuck Azalina.
And you can contact him for restorations here.
Oh, fancy stuff. Sam, what did he do?
Well, he did so much that I actually made a short list to tell you.
It better be short. We're running out of time.
Yeah, right. First, we already told you he polished the chrome, the original chrome. All tubes were checked, and the good ones, the goal was to keep them and discard, the bad ones. Then, every single capacitor was replaced. This is all important to a radio restoration. You can't leave old capacitors in.
Just like the arcade games, you replace all the capacitors in the TV chassis. The same is true even back in the 30s.
That's right. And, of course, resistors. Resistors do get old and brittle, and whatever needed to be replaced in that respect, he did too.
They change their values. That's what most resistors do.
Yes, over time, and they get very hard and stiff also. So all the resistors were replaced, and this is always necessary for a full restoration, not partial.
I was thinking of the hard and stiff part.
Ooh,
So was I, dear.
me too. Let it hang out.
Wait a minute, children. Children are watching.
Now, one of the really in-depth things he did was, and this wasn't necessary, all the rubber mounting pieces, there were little round pieces about that size.
Oh, that the amplifiers float on?
Yes, they were all stiff, with age, and he had to have a custom mold made, and everyone was molded by hand. Now this cost, more than $1,000 right there. So, the cost kept growing, and my pocket kept getting smaller, and this kept getting larger. Only one transformer had to be rebuilt. It was bad. And one new old stock audio interstage transformer was for the power supply, and that was replaced. And all the original speakers were perfect, except for one tweeter, which had its voice coil missing. That was replaced.
And we pointed out inside that the speakers were all original.
Yes.
And just the inside, the voice coil was changed. So
And
it's got the original parts.
finally, only one small transformer needed to be rebuilt, and it was done.
This big.
Yeah, tiny, tiny, teeny.
This big?
Now, how long, you say, does something like this take? Well, this man spent 80 hours to get this to where it is today. All the electronics,
That is a long
all the
time.
cables, and the total cost of restoring this alone put me back about $7,500.
Now that's a lot of money. However, the value of this radio speaks for itself. Something this incredibly rare is in fact valued at over $150,000. $1,000.
That's what people have estimated to be worth, yes.
Isn't it something?
Yeah.
All that sitting in the foyer.
It's a magnificent radio, that I admit.
Good. She
Guardedly.
admitted it.
Guardedly.
Say it right to the...
It is a magnificent radio. No doubt about it.
Anymore.
Listen, these two have been married a long time.
26
I've known
years.
them for years and years. We used to do film shows together. You've seen some of our film videos. We've had a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, in future videos, we'll have some fun with that, won't
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We will. But listen, now, Sam, would you like to show everybody your website?
Yes, I would.
Here we go.
It's as simple as this.
There we are. Look at that. This magnificent website you can find right from your own computer, and you can navigate this site very easily. They sell all kinds of things, motion lamps, motion clocks, all kinds of novelties, electronics, anything you can think of. Just go to their website and you can find all these things. Anna, you've done a beautiful job on that site.
Oh, thank you very much.
These two also wrote a book about
Yes.
motion lamps, and now that it's out of print, it's worth over $100.
Original selling cost was $19.
And Sam, how many of those books do you have?
Well, we printed
Oh, you don't have it.
we printed 5,000 and they all sold out.
We have
and
none
we have
left.
none left. We send people to Amazon where you can find them, for $100 to $125.
Oh my! Wouldn't it be nice if you had a case of them upstairs?
I wish I did.
Now there you saw some pictures of the book, where you can buy it probably on either Amazon or eBay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
And their website is
SMS and Noveltiques.
my initials, smsnoveltiques.com. Or, it's a very easy name to think of and remember, just go to motionlamp.com. Since we wrote the Bible on the motion lamps. I had 750 of them, the second largest collection in the world.
well, folks, I think we've had enough. And I've put dinner off another 15 minutes. And these people want to go home, don't you?
Yes.
I thought we were.
Thank you for inviting me into your home tonight.
Oh, you're welcome, Todd.
And we hope to get back real soon. Well, Sam, it's about time I get back to the shop.
Yes.
I gotta edit this mess.
Oh, he's been here for hours.
Yeah, away I go.
Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this little show, and we appreciate all that Todd has done to bring it to you. And Anna and I would like to say good night, and remember that WLW, the radio, to me, stands for Wow, Listen. And now, thanks to Todd, watch. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you like that? Email me and we'll return to Sam and Anna's house again real soon. In the meantime, good night.